if you've been around for my past few videos, you might have heard plot embryo this, plot embryo that, Rachael Stephen teaches this, things of that nature. And after all my promises, I'm here to talk about the Story Magic Academy. So you might know Rachael Stephen. She has a channel here on YouTube where she has been making videos about writing for like 6 years, I think. One thing that she talks about and that she will kind of go into detail with in some of her videos is her plot embryo method, which, as far as I know, she adapted from Dan Harmon's Story Circle, which is basically just a narrative structure that shows off your protagonist's journey over the course of the story that you're writing. Now, the Story Circle, again, as far as I know, is kind of more geared towards like screenwriting because Dan Harmon writes for TV. So Rachael Stephen kind of took this structure and made it her own and kind of tailored it to fiction writing, and she calls it the plot embryo. And it looks a little something like this. Ignore this ugly whiteout up here. I made this a long time ago. And it was just something that really intrigued me because I am a huge plotter and I am always looking for new ways to plot out and outline my stories. So when I found the plot embryo, I was like, oh my god, this is pretty freaking cool. And on her channel, Rachael Stephen has a few videos, she calls them story fix videos, where she kind of takes like already existing stories and puts them through a plot embryo and kind of changes them up a little bit. And it's just a way to show you how the plot embryo can make these existing stories like resonate more. It is really freaking interesting when you like watch it. And I'm gonna link my favorite story fix video down below, and it's really funny because the one that is my favorite is the one she did for the Transformers movie, which I hated with a burning passion, but her story fix of it is amazing. Now, I'm sure that a lot of people could watch these videos of hers, the story fixes and all of the, I guess, shorter videos, and be able to glean enough information from them to create their own plot embryo, but it just wasn't enough for me and I felt like I needed more. And then I found out that Rachael Stephen actually runs a course that's called the Story Magic Academy. In this course, she teaches you, in depth all about the plot embryo and how to create like a compelling arc for your character, but it also helps you to really build your narrative and make it feel organic and cohesive and just real, I guess. So what is the Story Magic Academy? It is an 8-week training program. It is video-based and new lessons kind of unlock weekly as you finish them, and it promises to teach smart, effective storytelling strategies to writers who want to craft resonant, satisfying narratives more easily. This course does not focus on drafting your actual story. It's not going to make you a better writer in the technical sense, because it's not teaching you things like grammar and spelling and sentence structure and all of those basic fundamentals of writing. It focuses more on story work, all of the things that go on before drafting and in the background of drafting. Like, it's all of the stuff that makes drafting work. It is the brainstorming, creating characters, coming up with, conflict and theme, and all of the background stuff that you might not really think about before you start writing your story. It's stuff that maybe a lot of people don't care about, maybe stuff that a lot of people kind of throw on the back burner and come back to after they've actually finished a zero draft. But at least for me and a lot of other writers I know, this is stuff that I like to have figured out before I even start drafting chapter 1. I enrolled in the Story Magic Academy back in May of last year, and if I'm being completely honest, I loved it. I looked every week, I looked forward to each new module that was unlocking. Sometimes I watched some of these videos multiple times. I had a blast during it, and when I reached the end of the class, I was almost sad because I was just having so much fun learning all of this, all of these new kind of ways to breathe life into my stories. My writing lately has kind of fallen by the wayside, I guess. Things with my writing have been really touch and go because of my mental health and everything that comes with being a neurodivergent person trying to survive in a capitalistic society. But that's a story for another video. But now that I'm finally getting back to my writing, now that I am in the right headspace to actually enjoy writing again, I am using everything that I've learned from the Story Magic Academy, and I'm able to kind of look at it on a deeper level now that I am actively using it, and not just when I was learning and kind of, you know, I'll call that my sample plot embryo, the stuff that I came up with while I was doing like the coursework, you know. I will return to that idea eventually, but that was just kind of, I guess, on the fly, whereas now I'm really taking what I learned and putting it to good use. For the record, I am not friends with Rachael Stephen. I binged all of her videos and now I do watch her regular vlogs, but I don't even comment on her vlogs, which makes me feel like a bad YouTube viewer because I know how important comments are in the algorithm. I really enjoy her videos. I like to put them on while I'm working on my bullet journal, you know. I am a fan of Rachael's, but I'm not a friend of Rachael's, and I've never said one word to her. I just wanted to make that clear because this isn't me like coming on here like, hey guys, you should pay my friend all this money because she's totally a great teacher and you're gonna learn a ton. Trust me. Like, it's not, you know, I'm not trying to be dishonest or drum up views for another person. Like, at the end of the day, this is just something that I really enjoyed. This is 100% my genuine opinion on the Story Magic Academy and everything that I learned while doing it. The best way I can kind of talk about it is a list of pros and cons. So the pros. There is a lot of material in this course. There's the video lessons, there's printables, there's links to related videos both from Rachael and from other creators when she thinks it's, you know, relevant, and applicable to the lesson that she's trying to teach you. There's just a ton of material. She includes examples on how to do certain things. She is actually showing you how to use these tools, not just an explanation and then brainstorm this for 20 minutes. Like, she actually shows you how you could do things, and she reassures you that maybe you're not going to get a lot in this brainstorming session, but that's totally okay, you know. It almost does feel like she's really there and helping you, and I'm the kind of person that I kind of really only learn how to do things by watching other people do them. It's extremely helpful for me to be able to see like actual examples, and Rachael provides those. After you pay for this course, it's there forever for you. I can't even tell you the number of times I've come back to the lessons I've already completed just so I can kind of refresh my mind, or maybe look at her examples so I can kind of really make sure that I'm understanding it the right way and not doing it wrong. The videos also all have closed captioning, which is always handy. You don't really need a lot of materials while you're doing this, which probably doesn't seem like a pro to a lot of people, but it's like, you could just get like a folder and a pack of printer paper, you know, from the dollar store, and you're all set. Or if you're an obsessive freak like me, you can go all out. You know, you can have a journal for brainstorming. You could have a nice little, you know, Leuchtturm notebook for like aesthetic notes and whatnot. You could have different folders. You could, you know, use all these highlighters and pretty pens. There are no requirements, and conversely, there are no limitations to how you do this course. However you learn personally, and just whatever you like to do. And even though you are doing these lessons by yourself, unless I guess you got with a group of friends to do them, but even though, you know, it's kind of a solo thing, there is a social aspect because you can go on the website and you can like comment back and forth to other people, you can make posts. There is that social element. And Rachael also will schedule live streams that you can like jump in and talk to her and ask questions and talk to other people in the chat. and there is definitely a social aspect for the people who like that sort of thing. I can't really speak to it because if you know anything about me, I am an antisocial flake of a human being, so anytime there's a social event, I'm gonzo. I'm not about that life. And for the cons, the lessons, like I said, are released weekly as you finish them. So like if you one week don't finish the lesson, the new one won't unlock for you the next week until you finish that lesson. And that sometimes got a little frustrating for me because sometimes some of these modules don't really have a lot of homework, so to speak. So it's like sometimes I would sit down to do my lesson and I'm like ready and I'm raring to go and I'm super excited, and then there's really nothing for me to do, and then I have to wait a week for the next module. So sometimes it kind of felt like I wasn't making any progress, and kind of in a similar vein, it is a slow process. There's a lot to learn and you're not really learning it all at once so that you can kind of take it in and really absorb it. You know, you're not just jumping in and immediately writing a story. You know, you're not gonna jump in and, you know, 2 weeks later be halfway through a draft or something. Like, it is a slower process. It can kind of just bum you out when you feel like you're not getting anywhere because you're not thinking about what you're learning and what you're retaining. You're just thinking, I want to write. So you kind of have to be patient with this course. A con that wasn't a con for me, but I can imagine would be for a lot of people, is that this course, even after like you finish it, is kind of aimed at people who do all of their planning and outlining and stuff by hand, pen and paper. I'm sure you could translate it to a digital like way of doing it, but as it stands, the course itself, what it teaches you is very analog, just handwriting. And so if you have certain limitations where you can't hold a pencil for too long, or you just, you know, you can't write by hand, this course is probably not for you. And that really sucks. That is really disappointing because, you know, I'm singing the Plot Embryos praises, but it is kind of not accessible for everyone. So it does kind of suck, and I can see why that would be a major turnoff for a lot of people. And the biggest con for me, the last con and the biggest con for me, is the cost of this course. It is really expensive and I had to save up to be able to afford it. And even then I was using like a payment plan because there are 3 different payment options. You can pay all at once. So you could do 3 monthly payments or 6 monthly payments. And it is a little bit cheaper if you pay it all at once, but I couldn't afford to pay it all at once. So I did the 6 monthly payments and it was expensive. You would be looking at spending about $1,000 on this 8-week course. The price point alone is enough to kind of make me wilt a little bit, because that is enough to make me feel like I definitely can't say like, oh, 100% I recommend this course, because that is just, it is just a really big chunk of money for a lot of people. You know, these days it's hard. Everyone is kind of struggling to keep their heads afloat, especially lately. Gas is like $5 a gallon, and that amount of money just isn't feasible for a lot of us when that money could go towards rent or groceries or a car payment, you know, things that are essential. And I would hate for somebody to, on my recommendation, save and save and save and then spend this money on this course only to find that the course does nothing for them and their way of writing. If you have the money, or maybe you have somebody who would be willing to gift it to you for, or help you out with it for like an early Christmas present or something like that, you know, I would say, you know, yeah, this is, you know, this is 100% recommended, but I don't feel like you need to go into debt for this course. This course isn't going to magically make you a best-selling author, and there is always a chance that the plot embryo method just doesn't work for you. And so I think you have to be careful before you make that decision. My best suggestion would be to watch her story fix videos. And like I mentioned, I'm going to link my favorite one down below. And also Rachael Stephen offers like a free 7-day course. You sign up with your email, and then like every day you get a new email like teaching you the bare bones of the plot embryo. I did that first and it wasn't enough for me, which is why I sought out and eventually bit the bullet and enrolled in the Story Magic Academy. Maybe you're different. Maybe you don't need all of it broken down. Maybe the 7-day course would be enough for you. So definitely check that out and sign up for it. I will say, if you are primarily a pantser when you write and your creative juices just flow best when you are sitting in front of a blank document, no outline, F it, we'll do it live. If that is the best way that you write, you probably won't get much from this course. This is for people like me who really extensively plan their stories and like to have all of that ready to go before you start writing. It's very in-depth, and if you're a pantser, you'd probably just find this course to be a waste of money. So like I said, I would definitely do the 7-day course and check out the StoryFix videos, and I think by then you'll be able to tell whether or not you're interested in the Story Magic Academy. Was the Story Magic Academy helpful for me? 1,000 times yes. Do I regret spending the money that I did? No. I have long since reached the end of my payment plan, and I am alive, so I don't regret spending the money either. I never thought that I was a perfect writer. I never thought that there wasn't something I could improve upon, but it wasn't until I was doing these lessons that I realized that as a writer, I had never thought about things like theme before. It had never even really struck me. I just was like, the theme will, it'll be clear once I'm done writing. The theme will just be there. But now I'm actively thinking about theme. And even when I'm reading a book or watching a movie, I am trying to find the theme and kind of look at how the author or the director or whatever is weaving it into the story. And that's cool, because like I said, I never thought about theme before. Another thing is that I never really learned how to brainstorm, and I thought I didn't like it. But because of this course, I learned that brainstorming is actually a really helpful tool. Now I know that if I ever write myself into a corner, I don't need to scrap everything and go and hide for a little while and then start over. I know how to now write my way out and come to natural solutions just by brainstorming for 15 to 20 minutes. Never learned how to brainstorm, and I always thought it was stupid. So in the end, is the Story Magic Academy worth it? Yes, with caveats. If you are a plotter and if you found yourself kind of struggling with things like theme and character arc and showing a natural growth that your character has, and maybe you struggle sometimes with the behind the scenes story work that, doesn't necessarily show up in your draft, but you need it to draft, then I'd say yes, definitely. The Story Magic Academy is 100% worth it. Coming at it from my point of view, with my writing style and how I like to do things, I can genuinely say that I would rate this course 5 out of 5 stars, even if that hefty price tag makes me cringe a little bit. However, if you are a pantser who gets bogged down and kind of loses steam when you're trying to plot or outline, and you feel like it's restraining you creatively and you can't do what you need to do or want to do, then this probably isn't for you. Or also, if you're a pantser or even just a full-on plotter, but you have a tried and true method that works for you, because of this price tag, I probably wouldn't go for this. Although I would definitely still check out the 7-day course and the StoryFix videos, 100%. And as I mentioned, I don't know Rachael. I wish I did. She seems cool. I like her accent. But I'm just a writer who seems to struggle more often than not. And it took me a little while to take the plunge and actually enroll in this course. So this is just me telling you that if you have the means, you should definitely do it, because it's helped me struggle less. Also, the Story Magic Academy is only open twice a year. I think she actually changed the months that she does it. When I signed up, it was I want to say in January and May, but I think now it's more March and August or something. It's on the website. I should have checked before I made the video, but I didn't. But I will link down below. You can sign up for the waitlist and be notified when enrollment is open. So yeah, that is my little review, I guess, on the Story Magic Academy. Do I think it is worth it? Yes. Do I think you need it? No. Am I happy I did it? Yes. like beyond yes. I am thrilled with what I learned. I love using what I've learned, and I will say I have not yet finished a story using what I've learned, but I had a problem with finishing stories before this, so that's just a me thing. So yeah, I'm sorry if this video seems very on the fence. If the price tag was not there, take price out of the equation. Like I said, 5 out of 5, 100% recommend this course. I absolutely loved it and had a blast, and am excited to have that knowledge and move forward with that knowledge. But the price tag can be daunting, and I would not blame you at all if that completely turned you off of it forever. I will link all the links down below. Check out Rachael Stephen. I do very much enjoy her channel and her videos. And yeah, that's it for this video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff down below. It's okay if not, I understand. And I will see you guys in my next video, whenever that is. Thank you.